Hello everyone, in this video we will learn about lesson 13, why do we fall ill? So we all talk about the health of a person, or we usually say that we wish to have a good health, but do you exactly know what the good health is? So we don't know about the good health. We only talk about that we need a good health. So what exactly the health is, we don't know about that. So we know that our body is formed of many organs. For example, we have the nervous system, we have a circulatory system, we have digestive system, we also have a muscular system. So when these type of systems or one of the system is not working properly at that time, it will affect the other body parts also or other organs also. And this lead to the uneasiness. So health is a state of physical, mental and social well-being. That means whenever a person is physically, mentally and socially, it is healthy, then we can say a person is a healthy. So any person that is having a good physical health, it is having a good mental health, and socially it is also behaving. So any person that is having a good physical health, it is having a good mental health, that means it is mentally okay, and socially it is also behaving decently, then we can say a person is a healthy. Now for being healthy, one need to eat a balanced diet, take rest, take proper sleep, live in a hygiene place, etc. For example, if any person that is taking a proper balanced diet, that means its body needs a particular component, so that component is provided by a person, then we can say a person is taking a balanced diet, and that person will not suffer from any disease. Similarly, if a person is taking enough rest, similar and other thing, it will take a proper sleep also. And if any person who is living in a hygienic place, then a person will not get any type of disease, because different type of microbes that are produced or that are grown in a unhealthy places. So when we are removing all these type of unhygienic places or unhygienic conditions, then we can easily protect ourselves from the disease. But sometimes a certain signs appear in the person that cause uneasiness, and this uneasiness is called the disease. So whenever our body is not functioning properly and we are getting some signs, due to that we can easily observe that our body is not functioning, or we are feeling uneasiness. In that condition, we can say our body is suffering from any disease. So disease, it is a state when the body is not functioning properly due to one or more reason. So whenever we are having some problem due to one or any other reason, then we can say our body is not working, and that stage is known as the disease. So health is influenced by many factors like community and personal hygiene. Now what they are? So as we all know that we are living in a society, so our social environment plays an key role. Like, we should keep our house clean. First of all, our house should be clean, so that whatever the environment in which we are living, so that environment should be properly clean. Now proper sewage disposal system should be there, so that whatever the waste is there, it should be on the proper place, it should not be litter here and there. Third thing, no stagnant water. So whatever the water is there, it should be in the proper drains, so it should not be stagnant anywhere, so that whatever the mosquitoes are there, they will not grow there. No open drains. So whatever the drains are there that is having the dirty water, so it should be closed. So whenever it will be closed, then what will happening, whatever the mosquitoes are there, they will not grow there. Now similarly, personal hygiene is important. Now how it is? So one should take bath regularly. So first of all, it is important that each and everyone, it should be take bath regularly, and one should wear clean clothes. That means it is not enough that we are taking the regular bath. It is also important that whatever the clothes we are wearing, it should be properly clean. Third thing, now drink clean water. So whatever water we are drinking, it should be clean and it should be purified. Now eat adequate nutritious food. So whatever the food we are taking, it should contains a proper nutrient, adequate nutrients, so that we should not suffer from any deficiency disease. Now fifth thing, one should maintain the social harmony and equality. So whatever the environment we are creating, it should be healthy and should be happily. So it's whenever the environment is happy, then also mentally we will be happy. Now, what are the sources of disease? Now, there are different sources of disease, out of which main factors are intrinsic and extrinsic. Now, what are these intrinsic and extrinsic factors? So, factors are, so that are factors that are within the human body. So that factor which is inside our body, that type of factors are known as the intrinsic factor. For example, these diseases are caused by internal factors. So whatever the disease that is, in first diagram it is showing the goiter disease and second is the arthritis. So these disease causing factors are always in our body. It is already inside our body. So these type of disease are known as the intrinsic disease. Now, just because these type of disease factors are already in our body, we called it organic disease and can occur due to any of the following. For example, it can maybe occur due to the malfunctioning of any body part. If any body part is not working properly at that time, we can suffer from these type of disease. Secondly, genetic disorder. So if you're genetically getting any disease, for example, sickle cell anemia, hemophilia. So these type of disease we are getting genetically. So these are included in genetic disorder. Hormonal imbalance. So lots of endocrine glands are there, and these endocrine glands are basically secreting some hormones. So whenever the imbalance occur, that means due to any reason, if these glands are not secreting sufficient amount of hormones, at that time we can suffer from a disease, and this include in hormonal imbalance. Now, fourth is malfunctioning of immune system. So, if our immune system it is not able to defend our body from the external microbes, then also we can suffer from any disease. Now, disease caused by improper secretion of hormones. So, if any body is not able to secrete sufficient amount of hormones, at that time we can suffer from any disease. For example, goiter, which is basically caused by the less secretion of thyroxine hormone. So in this thyroxine hormone, whenever it is less secreting, at that time, what is happening? The thyroid gland it became start swelling up and it will coming out to our neck, and then the goiter disease can occur. Similarly, in diabetes, if our body is not able to produce sufficient amount of insulin, at that time it can cause the diabetes or diabetes mellitus. Criticism. So this criticism is a disease in which the thyroxine hormone is not produced properly, and that time our mental growth is not proper. It is basically occur in children's. The goiter disease is basically in the adults, or the Addison disease. So these are some of the diseases which are caused by the hormonal disorder. Now, classification of disease. So whatever the disease are there, we can classify into different type of groups. For example, physical. So as bone fracture, leprosy. So these are the physical disease by in which our physical body part is damaged. Infectious disease. So any disease, for example, typhoid, AIDS, malaria, etc. So these type of disease can easily transfer from one person to another. That is why it is infectious disease. Now, deficiency disease, for example, scurvy, marasmus, Kwashiorkor, etc. So these type of disease may occur by the deficiency of a particular nutrient in our food diet. Inherited disease, for example, sickle cell anemia. So in this, what is happening? Our our RBC, it will getting a share like a sickle. So that is why it is not able to transfer sufficient amount of oxygen, and it is basically inherit from their parents to the children. Now, degenerative disease, that means after a particular age, our body is getting this type of disease, for example, poor sight, poor hearing, etc. Mental, for example, any person is suffering from depression, then we can say it is a mental disease. Social, so if any person who is taking a drug addiction or it is drug addicted, then we can say it is a social disease, etc. Now, different type of disease. So communicable disease. So those disease that can be spread from sick person to a healthy person through contact. So any person which is able to transfer the disease from one to another, we can say it is a communicable disease, and they are mostly caused by external factors. So whatever the external factors are there, they are responsible for this. For example, pneumonia. So this can transfer from the external factor. Externally, we can transfer from one person to another. Now they can transmit it through direct contact or through air, water, vector, etc. They are also called the infectious disease. So any communicable disease that can be transferred either to the direct contact. So if any person is directly touching to other, then it can transfer. It can also transfer through air. It can also transfer to water, and it can also transfer to a vector. So these are the infectious disease. Now, for example, common cold, cholera, tuberculosis, pneumonia, malaria. So these can easily transfer from one person to another. That is why they are included in communicable or infectious disease. Now, these diseases are mainly spread to pathogens. That means some microorganisms are there that can cause disease. So these pathogens can easily spread then these type of disease. And mode of transmission or is either of the following. That means this can transfer by these method like air, it can transfer by air, water, vector, and sexual contacts. So these are the some of the mode of transmission by which these type of infectious disease can be spread from sick person to a healthy person. The first is the airborne disease. So this disease basically passes by air. So if any person who is sneezing, at that time it can release lots of droplets in the air. So that is why this type of transfer is occur by droplet infections. So if any person who is sneezing, so it will release lots of droplets in the atmosphere, and that is why if a same air or this infected air is inhaled by the healthy person in that condition, it will also suffer from the same disease. So that is why this is a droplet infection. For example, common cold and cough. Now, waterborne disease. So, if the infection causing agent spread through dirty water, then the infection is called the waterborne infection. So, any infectious agent, if it is using the mode of transfer as water, then we can say it is a waterborne disease or infection. For example, if the stool of any sick person, it is transferred into the water bodies and that water is not purified and by chance it is taken or mixed with the drinking water and that water it is consumed by the healthy person, then obviously that disease causing agent can easily enter in a healthy person. So at that time a person will suffer from the waterborne disease. For example, cholera, it can easily transferred from infected person to the healthy person by dirty water. Now, sexually transmitted disease, so they are caused due to the any of the following reason: sexual contact with the sick person, using the same syringes, etc., and also from the mother to baby at the time of delivery or at the time of breastfeeding. So these are the some of the factors by which a person can getting the infectious disease by sexually. So that is why it is known as sexually transmitted disease. Now the vector-borne disease. So vectors are those agents that transfer the disease causing agent to us. That means these type of vectors are not creating any type of problem to us, but whatever the agent or whatever the microbes they are delivering to us, that is causing the disease. So that is why female Anopheles who is carrying the malaria pathogen that we call the plasmodium in its saliva. So whenever this mosquito bite us, their saliva come contact in our body, it will mix in our blood and whatever the microorganism that we call the plasmodium, it will enter in our body and that plasmodium will cause the malaria. Now, non-communicable disease. So the disease that cannot transfer from sick person to healthy person, we called it non-communicable disease. It is also known as non-infectious disease. For example, arthritis, if any person is suffering from arthritis, so if you are touching it or if you are getting the blood from that person, you will not get the arthritis disease. So that is why it is non-communicable. Similarly, if any person is having the kidney failure or its kidney is not working properly, so if you are touching that person, if you are eating with them, then this type of disease will not transfer to you. That is why it is non-communicable disease. Now, what is acute disease? So these type of disease are basically last for short span and do not cause a long-term bad effect. So this is for the short period of time and it is not creating any type of bad effect on our body. For example, if any person is suffering from common cold, cough or typhoid, so after some time that person can easily recover his body. Now, what is chronic disease? So they are the disease that last for a long time and as they cause long-term bad effect. So first of all, they last for a long time, for a long duration, and it is also causing the bad effect on our body. So if any person who is suffering from these type of disease, definitely he will get some problem in his future life also because they will create a bad effect on a for a long time. For example, elephantitis and diabetes, etc. So these type of disease, if any person is suffering from that type of disease, no doubt it will get a problem on his whole life. So that's all for today. Thank you very much.